feet ahead, stop, cut, and try to come and fight the lion for the other deer. You might see that when it comes to like a buffalo, right, where they can actually use their horns to mess up them lions and lift them up real high. Or maybe if it's a mother deer, she might hesitate a little bit, but she's not going to come all the way back there. So when it says it shall be as a chase road, they pretty much scatter every which way. And when hell starts breaking loose and you're in need of help, people are trying to save their lives. They're scattering every which way as well. When you watch the movie Bushwick, they show you that in one of the first beginning scenes where the girls with her man, they come out the train station, he gets his face blown off, and she says, I'm gonna go get some help and come back. She never returned. She forgot about him in like 5 minutes. Because when she got out, it was people shooting against the police. You had snipers on the roof. Then she almost got essay. She almost got taken in the alleyway somewhere. She totally forgot about her man that she was supposed to come back to bring help for. Now, how long they've been together, who knows? They might have been a couple for 3-4 years. That's it. For 3-4 years, and look at that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get that. You got to.
Isaiah chapter 32, verse 2. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest.
Yeah, and the wind and the tempest represent the calamities that are going to be out here, right? So a man being a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, that represents the Lord setting up, and these are men of the Lord. They're being like the pillars, right? The shield, the protection that you would go to hide behind. Okay, when all hell starts breaking loose out here, mentally and physically. Because they're going to be the ones that you're going to want to be around to get guidance and instruction. Even when you look at how the ancient world was, people would go to the prophets even in normal times to inquire of what should we do? What does the Lord have in store for us? What's going on here? Right? So how much more when all hell is breaking loose? They're going to know that the channel of the Lord is set through these men. Push you into Psalms 19, it also mentions, right? In them has he set a tabernacle for the sun, which represents that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So people are going to seek out men of wisdom in that time, as it says in 2 Ezra, the 5th chapter.
Yeah. Isaiah 13 and 16, in reference to what you said earlier. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Yeah, so, I mean, that's straight to the point. In other translations, it says grape. So, this is the times that we're coming into. And this whole matrix and this whole illusion of what you've been living as reality is all going to fall apart. And as a matter of fact, it's falling apart now. Look what's happening with ICE. The fact, their real true feelings and sentiments towards the 12 tribes of Israel is coming out, which is your so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. And that's what you tribes get. It's not fair. It's unjust. But at the end of the day, you trusted in oppression. Y'all were better off. A lot of you were better off staying in those South American, Central American countries you were in. But you wanted to come here to the land of opportunity, so-called, right? But you're going to find out this is the last place you're going to want to be soon.
Yep.
For many of them, it's actually the Lord's mercy to send you back to another country, as opposed to being here when all hell breaks loose, man.
Yeah, because in their minds, they're thinking that it's much worse, in a place where it's ruled or run by gangs and X, Y, and Z. But they don't realize that this place is going to be much worse, right? You are going to have those. The problem with the gangs here, the big gangs here, is going to be they're going to have military-grade weapons, and they're going to have executive orders backing up their actions. So what are you going to be able to do then? Now, it wouldn't be shocking if ICE, it starts off as the ICE entity, and ICE becomes that figure, as we basically know about FEMA, right? We talk about FEMA camps, FEMA troops, FEMA this, and now they decide, all right, we'll just codename it ICE. Forget FEMA, but they're pretty much doing the same thing. Recently, they said that they sent was it Marines to go and aid ICE in this mission that they're going about doing.
Oh yeah, sorry. In response to what the brother just said about how ICE, it's spiritual that he just said. Because my mother, how women could be. She was like, when you go out there, don't get into arguments with anybody. Watch how you talk to people, because the whole ICE thing, and she knows about the bill. It's a big, beautiful bill. She's basically just telling me, watch out and things like that. She also said, was mentioning about ice and things like that. How they, I think she said something along the lines that they're using dollar fans to catch people as well.
Dollar fans?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like vans. Mostly Benjamin be driving them shits. Like you pay like $2 and it's go like throughout Flatbush.
Oh, really?
You probably seen them before. It's like some like a white van and stuff like that. But she also said how they'd be like, oh, the Antichrist comes. She's like, no, those people is the Antichrist. I was like, oh really? You don't say, huh? Oh really? Okay. It was just that, before I left for Kim, I just found that very interesting how, like people are starting to realize like, there is no really like all that stuff that they believed in is not really true. It's like, no, these people really are the devil and things like that. Like, me speaking as a man, I believe like when eventually, like when Esau really shows his horns, eventually Jacob's gonna be like, yo, you're the devil. Like, and it's gonna click in the head like, yo, you're the devil. Like it's you. It's like it's not no guy in the ground. It's you. The things that you do, the way that you move. My mother is an example of that. Like he was like, oh, people talk about the Antichrist coming. No, like these people, the devil works through them. They're the Antichrist. Like, really, that's what we've been telling you.
Yeah, and they're gonna see that. Just like you've been saying, they're gonna see that because it's gonna be obvious in front of them. Now, Jake, in their minds, they already know that, but it's gonna take the devil coming down with great wrath for them to openly like, all right, now it's not just something that we all just know, but like we gotta actually do something here because these devils are wilding. Now he got his big beautiful bill out. We gonna see because when and I think this is very telling, right? It's the spirit that the Lord had them do this when before they debated it, they forced them to read the entire bill, I think they said it took them 15 hours to read the entire bill. What do you think is possibly in that bill for it to take you 15 whole hours to read the entire thing? And you think it's just about tax cuts and Medicaid and AI infrastructure? There's a whole lot in there. On top of that, look, they can encompass a whole lot in just 2 sentences, just by the kind of words that they use. What it is they create a back door, right? They'll create this bill, they'll create a back door that they can then use to funnel more things in there.
Big beautiful judgment. That's what came to mind. You're talking about a big beautiful bill, but it's a beautiful judgment that's coming, and they really going crazy with this ice shit, man. Like they turning it up for the summertime because in winter it's probably going to slow down a bit because it makes it harder to move around. But then again, they can still go hard too. But they are basically spawn camping. That's what they're calling it now. They spawn camping them at Home Depot, at places where they know Issachar and Mother Northern tribes are going to be at. Why they not focusing on Chinese nationals?
Right.
Why is the focus on the North? And now you getting your nigga wake up call. You getting your Negro wake up call.
Right.
You see, you getting that wake up call and understand that, because a lot of time the Northern Kingdom hates on the Southern Kingdom.
Right.
But now you're getting the wake up call to see that you're going to be treated the same because you are the same. You're an Israelite at the end of the day. Which is a blessing. But if you don't understand how to move, then it's going to be a curse unto you. The fact that you're the chosen and you just worshiping idols and doing all this shit is the same story that's always been playing out. They will worship an idol. They'll cry out to the Lord and the Lord will deliver them. But now you're at the point where the Lord is way fed up. So he's only going to be delivering the remnant this time around.
Right.
And when you cry out to the Lord, he's not going to hear you because you already chose your path.
What's that in Judges? Cry unto the gods. You bring it out. Yep. And let's also get real quick Proverbs 1 and starting at 20. See, it's about to get real out here, as it's already getting real out here. And people are going to start, look, man, but these people, they're going to cry, man. King David said that in one of his songs. That when he got hold of the heathen, they cried even unto the Lord, and they ain't get no answer. And then he continued to mess them up. Now think about it. These heathens, look at how dedicated they are, especially back then, to their gods. How desperate do you think they had to be in to the point where even they cried even onto our God? Imagine that. You're getting so messed up. You cry onto the God of the person who's messing you up. So how much more for these people today? It'll be just like that. All hell breaks loose. They'll start calling on whatever it is. These the most astute, devout, believers of whatever it is they believe in, they're gonna start to see, because one thing you can't deny is truth. And that's the same thing that happened with Antiochus. It's the same thing that happened with Nebuchadnezzar. It's the same thing that happened with Darius, with Cyrus, with these various kings. With Ptolemy, the fourth, when he went and got freaking, I forgot what the Lord did to him, but he pretty much turned into a stone, fell down, not literally a stone, but the Lord plagued him when he tried to walk up into the temple. So the Lord used his power to show even the most rigid heathens and make them believers. How do you go from an Edomite who boasts himself to be a god himself, that you're gonna go make the dwelling of the Jews a burying place, and then a few minutes later you're talking about how you're gonna become a Jew, you're gonna profess to the whole world the greatness of the Most High. You got in the book and that's acknowledged that yeah, this is the one true God, the God of Daniel. And you think that in this time they're not gonna realize that? They're gonna realize that when you calling on all Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ and all of this, nothing is happening. And yet you're seeing right before your eyes these men, like in once again that episode of SpongeBob with the shell. What's it? The conch shell. See, Squidward in the beginning was mocking it. He said, "You gonna believe that stupid thing? You guys are crazy." Then he went through however long days he went up into them bushes and came right back here. And then eventually he's sitting there, and then all of a sudden, and what were they doing? They were standing still, right? Standing still and see the deliverance. They were just sitting there for like 2-3 days, not moving, because the conscience soldiers don't do nothing. And then all of a sudden, the food came. Now Squidward is like, yo, matter of fact, let me talk to the conch shell too. But what does it say as we're about to get in Proverbs? So that episode was very spiritual. Because what happened when he said, "Can I have some of the food?" No. Can I have some? No. 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 Everything he has, he said no. And he turns around and this guy, Patrick, is down in the freaking sandwiches on like a freaking lawnmower on the table and shit. You know? And they got so much, you can see this, they're so full, and yet he can't even have a tiny bite. And that's exactly what the Lord is going to do.
Right? The Lord can have it to where you see a brother eating some food. Yeah, the Lord can have it to where you see a brother eating a burger, and that looks delicious, and the juice coming off of it, the cheese, the lettuce, and everything. And then you try to take a bite out of it, and it turns into maggots.
Yep.
Or something else. You're like, what the fuck, man? This is not what. Hey, man, listen. Food was meant for somebody. It ain't meant for you. And even if we tried to give it to you, the Lord could turn it into dust.
Right.
You bite into it, it's a sand burger.
Yeah.
You know, you get a mouthful of sand or dirt. No, because the Lord really got it out for you people, man. That's what you're gonna find out. We just praying hope. Why do you think you see us out here, man? We fear the Lord, man. That's what drives us to be out here week in, week out. The fear of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, but I got it right here.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, you need me Psalms 20?
Oh yeah.
Proverbs 1:20. Wisdom crieth without.
Oh, and did we read that? Let's read that real quick and let's get Proverbs. And so when we tell you that the men of the Lord through the Spirit of the Lord are going to be very important in these times, it's not because we're some special beings, it's because of what the Lord has bestowed upon us. Right? It's because of what the Lord has bestowed upon us. That wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Yeah, okay. That wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Lord has given us is going to play a crucial role. The sacrifice that we've been doing now is to prepare us for these times. That we'll find ourselves in a good place when all hell breaks loose. That the Lord will have mercy upon us. Got it.
Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease.
Rise up, ye women that are at ease. And there's a whole lot of women that are at ease. This is the worst time to be at ease. What are you at ease for? You know? Now you got some that are feeling it, and the ones that are feeling it are bugging out on social media. They're going on TikTok and whatnot, tripping the hell out. You know, I can't take this shit anymore. Damn near slamming shit into their car, spilling shit all over their car. You know, piss the hell off because life is hard. This is the life you asked for. This is the independent woman life. The I don't need a man life. The men ain't shit life, right? That I could do all bad by my own life. Well, now you're doing your two jobs that you said you didn't need a man for, right? You got your own place. Now you got to pay rent. See, they never think about that. What they think about is, oh, I can tell people, oh, girl, I got my own place. I got my own car. You know what I'm saying? I got my own job. I don't need no man. But now you got to work to pay bills. You got to pay car note or car insurance on that car. You got to pay rent for that place that you live in, right? You got to make it to that job, whether it's cold or hot, so you don't get fired. So all of these things, here it is. A woman will complain about having to take instructions and put up with a man, but she got to go do the same thing at work from another man or two other men. Because you got different managers that tell you what to do. So which one is worse? The man that loves you, that you got to put up with him, or the one that could care less about you that you got to put up with? Because that dude will fire your ass. Just like that. To get to stepping. Got it. And then, I'm
I was gonna say, sorry. Go off what you were just saying about how women will, flex about how they have a job or they have their own places and things like that. You do realize that's a part of being an adult. But see, that's how small-minded women think, that they look at, like, hey, if I have my own place, if I have a good-paying job, I'm above the man. I'm better than you. But it's like, yo, you're doing what you're supposed to do as an adult to take care of yourself. This is called adulthood, where you're supposed to what? You have responsibility. But a lot of people will look at it like that. But most women, since we're talking with women right now, will look down upon specifically men and other people, men, because they have this or they have that. But you're just being an adult. You're not doing anything that an adult is not supposed to do. You're not doing anything that is so fantastic and so great. I have a little saying of mine when it comes to money. Money only means something to people that don't have it. It's the same thing with a house note. It only means something to people that have never had anything. That's why they act like that. Oh, I only got. But if you're used to having things, like, oh, I've had this. Nothing. It's the same thing like a dude that maybe has not had a lot of experience dealing with women. When he finally gets one, you see he acts all crazy. Like, damn, dude, have you never had a woman before? Why? Because he's acting like that he's not. He hasn't had the experience. As opposed to dude that has experience with women, you see he's more cool, calm, and collected. Yeah, I was gonna mention how women that right now, but they are at a time where they start to see that things get crucial to where they will rely on the system to deal with everything, fight their battles and all of that. My daughter was getting mad at me because I was mentioning to her about privacy last week was becoming hey, hello, what's up? Pride week was becoming annoying to us. It was like disrupting the spirit, even though we didn't say nothing to them. He was upset that I was mentioning to them. To them about it, but I was saying that, to the effect of how it's messed up that they dealing with that unrighteousness, tried to buck up against me saying how we don't have the right to judge or we shouldn't be judging. And I was like, the Lord gave us the right to judge. But what was saddening is that they listen to the Supreme Court judge for the law, but they won't listen to the righteous men speak about judging an affair, So the time is coming where they're going to have to listen to us. When we do come out or do come back to judge and we carrying out his judgment through, him giving us power to prove the wicked, the righteous. So what I was saying is that they are at ease now, but the time is coming when it's going to be drama for them.
That's it. So what we got? We're still on that? All right. Scared a little bit.
Yeah. So again, this is Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech.
And how are you hearing the voice of the Lord? Through his men, through his prophets. But they're not trying to hear that. Because they don't see the men of the Lord as the voice piece of the Lord. And majority of it is because they don't really care about the Lord. See, we cared about the Lord. Well, we care about the Lord. That's why when we first heard this truth, we were like, okay, what is this about? Because they're talking about, the Most High's true name is this, son's name is this, X, Y, and Z. So we're like, what's going on? Is this really the truth? Right? We actually cared about the truth enough to find out, is this really the truth or not? Majority of these people, they don't care. Right? So go ahead. And you're going to find out real soon why the Lord says, listen.
Verse 10, many days and many years shall you be troubled, ye careless women.
Yep, and that's what's coming. As that big, beautiful bill, it's cutting a lot of those benefits, right? A part of those tax cuts, those tax breaks and all of that. You can see Trump is like, you ain't going to come up in here, right? You, in his mind, you in my country, right? And here it is. The rich people in here got to pay taxes, but you will claim everybody in the neighborhood's daughter and child on your when you file your taxes. So not only are you getting a tax break, you're getting a big ass return, and you're just using it on stupid shit, right? To continue to do nigga shit in here. So he's like, all right, all that is gone. You know, now they're actually like doing like real life audits. They're making sure that if you have this amount of money, it's exactly because of this, that, and the third. You're not cheating the system anymore, right? You're not putting this anymore because that's what you'll see. You'll be wondering, yo, how is it that you got dick in these neighborhoods and these women driving these nice ass cars? Where the hell are they? Hold on, somebody's working a middle class job and they can't even afford that. They're barely affording. They're living paycheck to paycheck. You're living in a worse condition, driving a better car. You turn around and freaking, they have this big ass house. They're every one of them on social media with these luxury ass apartment. Where are you getting the money from? Because they're using the, oh, I claim this, I claim that. Oh man, I can't. You see all them memes when it's tax season? Oh, when that tax season hits, and I tell my manager, watch the way you talk to me. All right, you know, and all that stuff. Lord's gonna bring all that to cease. That's a part of the teats that they're gonna lament for.
To add to your point, it's like they trust in the devil, and now the devil is deviling, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe Trump, and they all want to resist. He's been this way.
Right.
They gave you this shit in order to set you up to take it away.
Yep.
But you trusted in Esau, man. You trusted in oppression. The scriptures are so pinpoint accurate, man. You trust in oppression. The same one that's kicking your ass is the one that you're like, please help me. And then when he's like, nah, I don't want to help you no more. Jacob's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Believe it, motherfucker, because this is the devil that he's always been. The devil is coming down with great wrath, knowing that he had but a short time.
Right.
So this is an indication that his time is short, and they're trying to accomplish everything they need to accomplish.
That's why you had the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, and it's crazy because it sounds just like the Build Back Better plan, and that's just like the Republican way of doing the same thing. And when you look at it, it's BBB, which looks like 666. So both sides they're pushing towards the same goals. Build Back Better, it's the same thing. It's not by accident, you know, because it's a stupid combination of words. Big Beautiful Bill. Like, why would you want to force that to be big BBB? You know. But I sure you mentioned something about how they trust in the devil so much, even though the Lord sends his prophets out to give you warning, basically not just warning, but we're actually exposing who this devil really is and what his true agenda really is all about. Ultimately, his end goal, his plans, how he's going to get there and all that, you know, and yet people don't want to listen. But there's nothing new under the sun. I got a quick precept. This is a book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 36 and verse 15. It says, and the Lord Yahweh power of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending them, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place, which is Jerusalem, right? And his people being what? The 12 tribes of Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, man. All right. It says, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High. Isn't that what you're seeing today? Right? Again, there's no new thing under the sun. You're seeing the same thing happening today, man. All right. And despised his words and misused his prophets until the wrath of the Lord Yahweh arose against his people till there was no remedy. Okay? So when it tells you that in Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, the 4th verse on down, it goes into what? The Lord giving a commandment or an order to a bunch of angels, really death angels, all right, to go out there and to execute judgment on his behalf. And that's exactly what's going to happen again very soon when the Lord puts the spirit on these devils, all right, his sword, as is written in the book of Psalm. All right, Esau, Edom, and his sword. You got Palantir, you got Raytheon, you got Lockheed Martin. All these defense contractors that the military, the Pentagon is using, they got all kinds of armaments, not just for foreign war, but really for domestic war. Okay, for you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, because they know your history, they know what you're capable of, man. And the scriptures, the prophecy says that what Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt, so they know that, and they're preparing for that, man. All this so-called raids that they do in the ice raids and all that, who are they preparing for, man? They're preparing for you jakes. Okay? Super wicked. All right, so continuing, it says, verse 17, it says, therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young men or maiden, old man, or him that stooped for age. He gave them all into his hand.
So again, same thing is going to happen again. Where the Lord is going to give you old ass women over there, you old ass men that always talking shit. You know, you Christian Bible believers, Bible backs. All right, the Lord is going to send Esau through Donald Trump, okay, to come out here and start trumping on all your rights, all your freedoms, all your privileges, anything that you ever had before, man. All right, they're going to take everything away because they what? You own nothing and be happy. This is where it starts. The big, beautiful bill is the beginning of that shit, man.
It's gonna be real beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and, real quick, I just remember saying, did you mention that? Yo, that show you how much worse society has gotten, right? Aside from the wickedness that walks up and down to and fro on the earth. I saw a video, right? And this is at basically a marriage ceremony, and you know it's like a marriage ceremony, right? So the dude is there, the groom is there. You know he's at the podium or wherever it's at. He got his suit and everything, his family, everybody's over there waiting, and the bride comes out, and they're thinking, he's coming out looking like Cinderella and shit, right? Coming out with a nice, you know, they come out with the long train, the ball gown, dress, and all of that. This bitch came out in a fucking I don't even know what to call that. You know them behind the doors bedroom outfits, where she got her whole breast out, basically look like a bra.
No,
What was it?
lingerie.
Yeah, lingerie, corset type shit. You know what I'm saying? Short ass skirt, her cheeks out and shit.
It was a chick, in.
Yeah, and she came out, you know, and the second she came out, you got the mothers and shit looking around, like, and you can see it on the dude's face. He was like messed up. He was like, because he's not trying to make a scene, but he's looking at her shocked, and he's like, yo, he's trying to whisper to her, like, yo, what are you doing? Like, what is this shit? And she's out here looking like, wait, what? What you mean? Like, I'm like, what? Yo, the second they got there, you can just see it, like the fact that he walked in there thinking that this was okay, and he's like, you don't, like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, what you mean? What am I doing? Like, what's wrong with this? Hey, at that point, you already know this is a destroyed people. They're already destroyed, so the Lord just got to complete it. Burn them.
That was like
You got it.
that was a visual representation of the body of the Lord be joined to a harlot. That's what it reminded me of. Like basically, when you get into these other philosophies, that's what it's like marrying a whore, man. That's what that bitch represents Christianity, man. Whereas if you were married to wisdom, she would come all nice and covered up, smelling nice, making and honoring you, not making a goddamn fool out of you.
Right.
And that's why you tribes are being made a fool of. Right. Because you're married to a whore.
All these laws that's being passed, the big beautiful bill is considered like the big bag draconian bill. Like, that's ushering in all the hard times that y'all gonna be facing, right? So in all reality, it's gonna come back to be those decrees that's gonna come back and tear this place up. The Lord gonna have it to do away with it because it's really affecting his people. He's not going to let something that affect his people last ever. Like, this is the punishment that we're dealing with, but it's going to be hard times. But in Isaiah 10, verse 1, it says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decree, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Right, so these decrees that's being passed right now is going to be a destruction to them. Doing that, you know? But punishment that we're dealing with, y'all deserve it. Because y'all sitting up there doing wicked things and acting like there's not going to be a repercussion behind it. All right, y'all going to get the backlash of it. So to him, it's a beautiful thing, but to y'all, it's going to be disastrous. All right, healthcare bills are going to be fine. All type of things is going to happen to y'all.
Yeah, Section 8. Yeah, and people are already struggling now as it is. So, and that's why it says in 2 Ezra 15, which we're going to get to that as well. That's why it says they're going to be doing this for the lack of bread and for great tribulation, because times are going to get tough. You're seeing tribulation on all sides. These roundups, it's like a storm that you see getting closer and closer to you, to where nobody's going to be safe.
Well, that's what Trump said back in his first term. He said, "Is the calm before the storm?" Yep. And then somebody asked him, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" He said, "You find out soon." That's what he said.
But he also said that you knew I was a snake before you took me. Yeah. What do you think snakes do? There was a story that came out years ago that you had this woman, she was complaining about how she had a python or some big snake, and it wasn't eaten. For so long, it wasn't eaten. So she goes, they told you, bitch, you better leave that house now or get that thing out the house immediately. Because he's sizing you up. That's why he's not eating. He's getting ready to swallow you. And here it is. Before you know it, you wake up one morning, one night, there's a shadow above you, and this wide ass mouth is like looking at you and shit. Get ready. Because that's what they do. They swallow people, deers, alligators. You'd be surprised how wild that throat goat type shit. You ever swallow? You ever swallow? CDJ? CDJ? But where we at? We on Isaiah 32 at 9? All right, let's get that a little bit more.
Isaiah chapter 32, verse 10. Many days and many years shall you be troubled, you careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come.
Now, the vintage represents, when you go back to the ancient world, you would have during the harvest time the gathering, right? Whether it's like the grapes, that's why I mentioned the gathering. Whether it's the grapes or the olives or whatever it is, during that season of reaping, you would get that, and it was usually a time of joy. Why was it a time of joy? Because spreading in the wine vat, you would have it's an actual pit with like grapes in there, and then people would be singing, dancing, rejoicing, and stomping on it, right? But as it says here, it's not going to come, right? Go ahead.
You notice it says many days and years. Is in reality, when you look at it, it's many days in a year, right? In the sense that you're gonna have unrelenting stress that you women are not used to, and it's gonna feel like forever because America caters to women, right? That's why you have cities, you have all these different things that makes a woman's life easier, the convenience, right? So once that convenience is taken away, you're gonna be so burdened, especially now when you have this beef between men and women. When all hell breaks loose and times get hard, men are not gonna be there to support women like that. I don't care how simple you may be, you're gonna be in such a dire strait that you're not gonna want to listen to what these women have to say. All right. So the Lord is gonna be putting a whole lot of hell every corner, everywhere you go, especially you women, because you do the most talking. You do the most talking and the less work, man. The least action is where it comes from women. All right, the most talking and the least action, man. All right, and they say shit because they have the sense of security that men, police officers and shit could be there for them. But nowadays, you got police officers who are they're crashing out, man. If you get caught by a cop, he pulls you over and shit like that, he's looking to hit it in the back. Talking about, I'll let you hit right now. And he's like, yo, you can't be talking like that. You can't be talking like that. I got the camera on. You can't be talking like that. Very next day, this nigga is stuck in the back seat because when you're in the back seat of a police patrol car or whatever, they can't open it from inside. They got to open it from outside because you got the person you arrested in the back. Yeah. So his dumb ass goes into the back to go hit. Yeah, and now he's stuck. So he's calling his supervisor. So they come in there and find him in the backseat with a chick. Like, what's going on? How'd you end up here? He said, oh no, well, she was stuck, so I was trying to help her out, all that. He said, nah, this nigga, he got his ass up out of there, bro. But that's what's happening. A lot of these so-called cops and shit, you're starting to see how corrupt they really are, man.
They're men at the end. They're humans.
They're
right?
human. Yeah. So it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be really, 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 really bad, man. Because they have to make it bad in order for you to take that MOTB anyway.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? There's no turning back once you get to that point. And that's why they're setting up that one big, beautiful bill. That one is important in there too, because that lets you know that this is all about the one world, new world order type shit. That one has to be in there. What's that? E pluribus unum, which is out of many one. So is that whole concept of one.
That's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
It eventually goes up to one top. That's the most efficient way to control the concept of a monarch, right? It's like one sole ruler. That's the most efficient way, at least in their minds, that they want to go ahead and do this. But that's what people are going to feel the effects of. Got it.
Verse 11. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones.
And you men too, right? All of you. Because the Most High got Isaiah 9:4 and 5. It doesn't discriminate against men or women, child or old, Ezekiel, the water, youth or old, maid or little children. Judgment doesn't discriminate. So both men and women tremble. If you're not a believer, if you're not on good terms with the Lord, start trembling, and tremble so that you can turn to the Lord. Because if not, you're gonna be in a dire situation out here. That's just it. Right?
Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins.
Right. That was a sign of mourning. Right. They would extreme mourning, right? They would take off the regular clothes they had and they would put sackcloth on. And sackcloth wasn't comfortable. Right. It was usually made of like goat's hair, which is very coarse. So it would cause that irritation on your skin. But it was to add to the affliction, all right, to represent you being in that mourning state. So that's what is being said here, is that basically start getting into that state of mourning, because what's about to come is just that. It's gonna be Jehoshua said, the beginning of sorrow. And people don't see it, they just don't care. And it's just interesting because it's like these are the same people that are gonna be all that's why I think there's a scripture that says all faces shall be turned to paleness. Because these same faces here that have that nonchalant, I don't give a damn look, are going to be the same faces that are afraid, that are scared. Some of them being inanimate because their spirit is not in them anymore. And that's what you're going to see all around. From a time of laughing and stupidity to mourning and sorrow. When you watch, what's that name? The Walking Dead, right? It's very rare that people laugh in The Walking Dead. Because almost 24 hours of the day, they're serious, right? You're either losing somebody, right, that's a part of your clan because a zombie bit them, right? Or there's another gang that's after you guys. So it's always a solemn spirit that's out there, because every day you're fighting for your life. You don't have time to laugh. Nothing is funny anymore, right? So that's what's about to happen in society today, and people have no clue. The targets that it's coming for have no clue. And we're warning them, but they don't care. Got it.
Verse 12. They shall lament for the teeth, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vines.
And that represents in this time in Second Ezra either 15 or 16, it mentions the suddenly 6. Second Ezra 6, it says suddenly shall the storehouses be found empty. And then it goes into the sown places shall be unsown. The sown places are your farms. Okay. And when they're unsown, that means there's nothing coming from, no resources are coming in. Factories need resources they transform resources into your production grade goods. So if the sown places are unsown, that is what makes the storehouses empty. And that's what makes the lack of food and great tribulation. All right, that was on that? Yeah. All right, let's get that in Proverbs. Because all the answers are in the book. And the bill.
Proverbs 1:20. Wisdom crieth without.
How is wisdom crying without? By us. Okay? Wisdom is crying without by the men of the Lord. The Lord has blessed us with that wisdom. And as we're out here speaking unto the people, that's likened unto wisdom crying without. Go ahead.
If I may, in the margin it says excellent wisdom.
That's a good call out right there. That's excellent wisdom. Because the Lord says that the wisdom of this world, that's it, God. The wisdom of this world is foolishness with the Most High. Go on.
She uttereth her voice in the streets.
You know what's crazy? There's a TV show, is it Talk or something like that, where I think it's on CBS or one of those shows, where it's literally a table full of women talking about shit. The View? Is it The View? Okay, yeah, it's The View, right? So a whole bunch of different kinds, right? And it gets views. So people would rather watch women speak about irrelevant things. When I say irrelevant things, I mean they're not really providing any actual groundbreaking solutions. They're just arguing back and forth about on emotional points, not logical points, emotional points, right? So they're just going back and forth. People would sit there and listen to that confusion and tune in every day to watch it, rather than the excellent wisdom that is actually going to save your life as all hell is about to break loose. You see why the Lord is like, now, why should I actually grant mercy to you when all hell is breaking loose? He's going to tell you, I did grant mercy to you. Oh, Lord, please have mercy. I did have mercy. That's why the prophets being out there was a sign of mercy. Because it was the Lord. It's like if you're drowning and then somebody's reaching out their hand to you and you're like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Here it is, you're sinking, but I'm good. And then once they leave, you start calling out to them, say, oh, please, the sharks are here.
It's because, The time that I'm able to help you is the time that we have left.
Exactly.
Once that time is gone, I can't physically come and help you. At that point, you gotta swim for yourself, man. You either you sink or you swim. Ain't nobody gonna get off the Titanic boat, right? Get on the lifeboat and then be like 3 miles away, and then they see the damn Titanic halfway through, and then they're gonna turn and be like, yo, I'm gonna swim that shit and go save this motherfucker. Nigga, it's too late, man. It's too late. If you still stuck on the Titanic when it's already halfway in the fucking ocean, bro, it's over with, man. You're going down with it. There's nothing you can do. Did you see the movie? What happened? All the people that was crawling up and trying to be at the top of it, what happened? At the end of the day, they all went back into the ocean anyway. And they all died, except for the story, except for the what's it, Rose, whatever? The adulterous woman. The adulterous woman. You know? You got it, bro.
Oh, tough. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's why it says in Ezekiel 3:17 going down that what their blood shall be upon their own hands for not listening. Right? So when you warn the people, you take the blood off your hands. You say what? Look, I told you, I warned you. You don't want to listen, that's on you. Because now if people come to, hey, why is he out there? What happened? Well, I told him, but he didn't want to listen. Because now people are not going to look at you and say, why didn't you learn? They're going to say, yo, dumbass, why didn't you listen?
All right. Got it.
He crieth in the chief place of concourse.
Yeah. And see, and originally that was where the marketplaces, the main places where people would be. But today, the main place people are is on the internet. That's the chief place of concourse. Everything going digital is mainly on the internet. They have a lot of these when you have social media, right? The social part is the concourse. It's the chief place where everybody gathers. Right. That's how word spreads nowadays. In the ancient world, there was a place where you would go to and you would hear the news. They would literally, like Mars Hill or Areopagus was one example, where it was literally a higher area where they would give announcements, they would cast judgment, they would do all those things over there. So that was where you would get your news. Today, it's all online.
Just to add to your point, that's why it says in Acts that they were their whole thing was to either learn something new or I forget how it was phrased, but basically the whole thing was like they would just have a discourse, right? Well, somebody's bringing a new wisdom,
right?
Where does that happen now? Mainly online.
Yep.
Because when people don't even socially interact like that anymore, like face to face. Most people just walk by. Even if we went to 125th, most people would just walk by. Yeah, they would hear us, but they're going one in one ear, out the other. By the end of the day, they're gonna be committing adultery, trying to F somebody's beast, out in a house party, smoking blunts and hookah or whatever, and being wicked. So it ain't like this word affect them. But online, they'll go and they'll have their little scarf and the intercourse. That's why people go online, because they can hide behind an avatar.
Exactly. Yeah. It's gonna almost be surreal, right? To where it's like, yo, imagine you find yourself in this situation. You out here having pool parties and shit, knowing damn well that you haven't done what you're supposed to do, knowing that evil is coming. You're being warned, but you're not listening. And now you're in a predicament where you're starving, you smell bad, you haven't showered, you haven't eaten. You're in like the most uncomfortable position you can be in. Especially for a lot of people that have been pampered their whole lives. They drove nice cars, they had a nice house, they lived that kind of bougie lifestyle. Where it's like, yo, ain't nobody can touch me. Like, I'm living life. You look at the rest of y'all are peasants. You find yourself in this kind of situation, and it's like, wait, but you have nobody else to blame but yourself. Did you not hear us warning you? Yeah, you did. Because some people were warned personally.
Yeah.
So much so that they cut ties with you because they were like, I'm tired of hearing you saying this. How then do you fix your mouth to come around and say, please help me? Well, everything you were saying was right. No, I know that. Tell me something I don't know. Because now you're going to realize, just like Noah's Ark, ultimately it's not even going to be up to us who gets help or not. Because how can we help somebody that the Lord is targeted or appointed for death? Like Ashar was saying, we might feel bad. We might throw you a chicken, and the snake flies, and the second it gets you, it turns into a freaking frog or a serpent. And then we pick it up, it's a chicken again.
Yep.
Then you get to see that, yo, we literally can't help you. We give you a bottle of water, and you grab it, it turns to acid. Or the Lord might wait till the second it touches your tongue, it turns to acid. I was that reminded me, I was watching a video. Yo, Nate, the Lord is yo. There's an actual bug that from its tail, from its ass, it shoots out it's almost like a flamethrower. It's like an acidic liquid that burns you. Yeah, that's the one. And so whenever it's pressed, I think there was a frog trying to swallow it whole, and the second the frog use his tongue to grab it and release that shit. This fucking frog spread out into the air and shit, you know. But I was looking at it like, yo, that's really crazy. Like that's nature right there. So if these animals have spiritual power,
Yep.
how much more for the when the Lord said he feeds the birds and the ravens every day, and are you not much more greater than them? So how much more for us?
He gave Adam dominion over all of creation. He's the king of all creation. So, it's crazy. Yeah, bro.
And that's even more wild when you think about, like, bugs are usually weak to fire.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So how does he shoot fire out his ass? That shit is crazy. Like a rare type, he's a fire bug type Pokemon.
Firebender.
His weakness and resistances is like his strengths and his weaknesses opposing, but somehow the Lord makes it work. You got flying fish, all types of shit.
That crazy, yo.
Flying squirrels. That's supposed to be a land creature, but it can fly.
Yeah.
Or glide. It can't really fly, but it can glide.
Yeah. Flying fish is crazy. You got fish that actually fly out and back in.
And they'll be coasting for a minute.
Yeah.
They don't just like up in and out. They'll be like,
But like birds.
yeah,
They got
like
wings.
if you look at it from afar, it's a bird. It looks like a bird.
Yeah. And it looks like the model that they use for planes. They got the two out and then the two back there, like those old planes back in the day, dog fighters and stuff.
Us as human beings, the man-made weapons is not only our defense mechanism, the scriptures is our defense mechanism as well.
Right. First of all.
Combating evil. Once that, the evil spirit that you're dealing with tries to enter you, use the scriptures to combat. That's a defense mechanism. We use it for ourselves, but we also give it, we come out there with the scriptures as well. We come out with these scriptures, proper breakdown of the scriptures. So you're being on the defense right there.
Right.
Everything is not fought physically. How would that be coming in effect of the mind, the wickedness? I mean, physically, that's not spiritual. Like I said, scriptures is the defense mechanism for that. But the beetle has the acid in its tail, but to keep other animals from eating it. Y'all being devoured because y'all don't have this in y'all the scripture.
Yeah, there's frogs in the jungle that are very colorful, but they're the most poisonous ones. Where, yeah, they might look nice, but they could kill you. And it's yeah. So even like a snake or a serpent is not gonna mess with those kind of what will be considered prey, right? Because they understand that, yo, I'm gonna end up my own death if I try to be too hungry on this nigga here. So the Lord already has defense mechanisms for all creatures. Whether they're prey or predator, they all have some form of defense mechanism. How much more us, right? And like the bar said, ultimately, as a man of the Lord, or really just as a man in general, an Israelite man, your number one defense is the scriptures.
Right.
Okay, so before you even start to have a carnal defense, you must have a spiritual defense. You got to know who your enemy is first. Before you can start building up an army or having some type of order to go against your enemy, you got to know who your enemy is. And the scriptures tell you exactly who that is, right? So there's a book of Hebrews chapter 4, verse 12. It says, "For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart." That's why whenever every time people come up here, being that we are at a war zone, this is a war zone, really, right? People come up here, they come up with their own different philosophies and different thoughts and so on and so forth. But as soon as the scriptures come out, everything that they came up here for is made plain, right? They get cut, sliced up, just beat up, stomped out, broken up, and they end up being depressed and hopeless, and they walk away because they know this is not for them. I got a quick one too, which is a reference that ICR you made in regards to how they will come up to hear something new, right? There's a lot of people come up here or even on our videos because they want to hear something new. Oh, this sounds interesting. Let me go check it out, see what they're about. Oh, this Hebrew Israelite thing. Oh, that's the reason why I don't like the black Hebrew Israelite. It's like something new for them.
Yeah.
They don't understand that this is the final go around. This is the most important thing on the earth going right now. Okay, the word of the Lord going out, giving warning, letting you know what's coming in the next few weeks, next few months, man. And it's all going to affect your future. If you're here in Babylon the Great, you might want to hear what we got to say.
Oh, yeah.
There's a book of Acts chapter 17, start off at verse 19. It says, "And they took him and brought him unto Areopagus, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is? For thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know, therefore, what these things mean. For all the Athenians and strangers which were there spent their time in nothing else but either to tell or to hear something new. Same thing that you got today. They ain't got shit going on. Niggas got all kinds of different philosophies. One nigga says he's a Muslim. Another nigga says, all right, we doing we go and sit together and have a barbecue, but I believe in Kemetic. Another nigga says, no, I'm an Israelite. But yeah, all like, oh, one is a Christian. You know what I'm saying? One is what's the other shit that they're atheists? You know what I'm saying? How you an Israelite but you're an atheist? Like what? What the fuck? That's why Isaiah the first chapter is written, right? An ass knoweth his owner, right? And a donkey as ox his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, neither do they consider, right? So even when the Lord sends his shepherds out here, you still don't even recognize who they are. You look at them as your enemies. When we're telling you the inside, we're giving you the inside scoop. And you're like, nah, y'all niggas is crazy. Oh, y'all hating. Oh, so the white man can't come? Oh, so the Gentiles can't be saved? Nah, that ain't for me then. What kind of God is this?
But what if you told you that they could?
Then what?
You still wouldn't do anything.
Exactly.
It's not like you would come out here and teach. It's not like you'd become fervent out of nowhere. You wouldn't do shit. You still be living in your wicked lifestyle anyway. So Jake is so vain, bro. They're worthless, man. Honestly, a lot of people today, they're worthless. Like you said, man, they don't ultimately, it's because they don't care. Like deep down inside, they don't actually care. You can point out to them, yo, what about remember when I was telling you these things? Look at it, X, Y, and Z. This is what's going on in the world today. And they'll just, yeah, I mean, but you know, it looked like the direction is that's the direction the world was headed in anyway.
Right.
Okay. Right. So you're not concerned, that got nothing to do with you?
Are you prepared?
Yeah, you know, let's see what happens. Nigga, what? Let's see what happens. If the Lord told you there's a flood coming, like during Noah's time, to start building the ark so you can survive, you're sitting there talking about, let's see what happens.
That's why it says that this is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart, man. At the end of the day, it cuts to the point. That's a beautiful thing about the scriptures, man. And this word, the truth that the Lord gave us, it cuts to the point. It's no dilly-dallying. Well, you know, meditate on it for a month and let me know what you think. Most of the time, when you come up, either you get it or you don't. You hear or you forbear. You know, and I have a precept to match up with you. Ephesians 4:14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. Hey, as we were saying, that the breeze start coming in, the wind start coming in, but that's how Jake is. Just like a tree is swayed, the wind comes this way, it's swayed that way. The wind comes that way, it goes this way. Some trees get knocked down, like what happened in Jersey a couple nights ago. And that's how Jake is. They're easily swayed. You had that whore, Brittany Renner. She came out and said she was a Muslim for a few months. Now she's popping out dressed like a slut again. Make up your mind, bitch. And she went deep into it. She had whole video, hours long explanation. Oh, Allah is this, and she was talking about how much it changed her life, and this is the ultimate sacrifice. She's so grateful, and then she just turned around and be a hoe again.
The Islam demon clocked out. Brought the Babylon one back in. Crazy. What's the whore? Always the whore. That's it. Yep. Right back.
Back in Proverbs. Yep. Proverbs 1:21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates.
Which now we're doing that mainly by the internet. Go ahead.
In the city, she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity?
Yeah, that's what we say, because we look at the way these people live their life, and we see that it's not conducive to a righteous lifestyle. And a righteous lifestyle is that of a prolonged, and peaceful society. But they rather involve themselves in stupid things. Majority of the things now, the new shit that you see everywhere is what's the name of that new show, that drama show?
Love Island?
Love Island, yeah. I'm like, what the hell is this? What? But anyway, that's apparently the new joint that's going on. And you know, one thing that you see the most on here, it's always about somebody's life, somebody else's life that we do not care. I don't care why Cardi B is crying. I don't give a damn about that, But they'll make a whole clip explaining it, and they'll get people too. people always look, yo, you heard Offset, you know, he got cooked, you know, and then she's with this new guy now, and he said he's into Sabrina Carpenter. Why the hell does that look? Nigga, you got to pay rent. Rent is coming up, and you telling me about freaking Cardi B's ex. And people sit there and watch that, and they never stop to ask themselves, wait, what? Before watching this video, what? Now that I've watched it, what have I gained? You know, has my life gotten better? Have I gained any extra wisdom? No. Now you just know that Cardi B crying about her ex or some shit. So what?
If anything, you lost.
Yeah.
You lost brain cells.
Yeah.
You lost. You watch this shit. Instead of gaining something, you become dumber afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had some. I seen a bitch I know from around the way. She posted something about Love Island. She said a Love Island watch party. Yo, come through. We're gonna have a Love Island watch party. And it's like people will gather and they all drinking and watching this nonsense. I'm like, yo, this is how you know this is a gynocentric society, and also this is a vain society, man. Like completely vain, bro. Completely vain. Like this is why this place has to be burned. What are we missing out on? If this place gets destroyed, Love Island, oh man, what a shame. No, that's gonna be a blessing, man, when all this shit is done away with.
They represent Lot's wife, or Lot's wife represents them, because that's what would happen, right? The Lord would say, all right, it's time to go, and they would, if the Lord gave them an option, all right, I beam you up and I bring to you a new kingdom, or you stay here. They would pick staying here. You know how we know? Because we tell them that now, and they still decide to stay in and live the same lifestyle that they continue to live over here. Which goes to show you that they would rather die with this place than get changed. They would rather get turned to stone. They would look back at the Love Island and the freaking all the other extra shit, the teach that is no more over here. But that's why the Most High said, you know what I'm gonna do this time? This time when I'm bringing the hell, you're not gonna be able to say, oh, we missed the leaks and the stuff that we got back in Egypt. No. I'm gonna turn Egypt into a hell that you're over there where you wish you can run out of it, and then I'm gonna leave you there. Because guess what? You ain't want to leave anyway, right? Got it?
Proverbs 1:22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
Yep. How long? Right? Because by their actions, we see that they're fools. The fool said in his heart that there is no God. Every so often you have some Israelite come on camera thinking he's smart. He figured out the mystery to life. This is why God is really you and you're really God. Because, okay, bro, how did the human body get formed? Because you know you need all parts, right, in order to actually be living. So how did that work? Was the brain first? Was the eyes first? Was it the organs, the internal? How does that work? Get them at first off, the smartest of researchers don't even understand how just one part of the body fully works in its entirety. But you're gonna figure out the code to life.
Hey, if you're God, if you're the Most High, make it rain, right? Make it snow, make it blizzard. Feed the lions in the wilderness, you know? Right. Feed these wild, innumerable amount of animals that the Lord feeds them every day. You do that. You can't do that. You're dependent on the seasons and different things. The weather's not right, and you niggas complain, but you're God, right? Give me a fucking break.
You can't even control. You can't control when you die now. Go ask him on his deathbed if he's still God. You still the Most High, and you're gonna see how quick they'll be humble. Because now you see reality face to face, and now they get afraid because they don't know where they're going back to. You know, and that goes to show you all these bugged out doctrines. At the end of the day, it's demons. It's demons that are on them that have their mind. They believe the Lord said what? That they should believe a lie. So that's what's happening. They're believing a lie, and reality is gonna set in, and it's gonna set in hardcore, man.
It's like if you really God, you can ask him like, tell me a little bit about a bee and how it works.
Yeah.
What are the functionalities of a bee? How do they make honey? Right. Or if you're such a God, let me ask you this: have you ever been able to defeat the spirit of deep sleep? You know, when you sleep here, you try to stay up, but you can't, and it's like eventually you just knock out. Yeah, tell me about that. How can you overcome that without no coffee or anything like that? You just straight up like on some hardcore shit. Most people can't do that, especially them niggas that talk like that. They can't do that shit. You know, when you
know basic arithmetic, but you got that's bad, crazy. That's disrespectful. Got it. But that's why it says, how long are you gonna love simplicity? You're living in a simple lifestyle, and we keep on telling you, yo, after all the signs the Lord has showed, as it says in 2 Ezra, I think it's 16, yet for all these things they shall not, change their ways. They shall not turn from their wickedness. like, what more do you need to see for you to realize this is like what the scripture is saying is true? Got it?
Turn you at my reproof.
Mhm.
Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you.
Right. So reproof is correcting. So turn you meaning you're going in the wrong way, and we're correcting you to say, hey, no, stop. That's the wrong path. You got to turn back around. That's repenting. You got to turn back. Turn at the reproof of the Lord. Go ahead.
I will make known my words unto you.
Yes. If you, like I said in Revelation 3:20, if you turn back and you hear these words and you believe it, the Lord is going to make known. As read that part again.
I will pour out my spirit unto you.
Mhm.
I will make known my words unto you.
Yeah, because in order for you to understand fully, the Lord has to pour his spirit upon you so that these words, that the meaning of it may be known to you. Right? Because if you just pick up the book, you're not going to be able to understand it. It comes with a spirit. The spirit is the key. Because if you don't have that spirit, somebody can literally explain to you Revelation 13 and 16 means this, and you won't understand it ever. And everybody else will be looking at you like, oh, bro,
Which y'all you guys see?
yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw the latest video.
No, what
I
they
think
say?
Deacon I think it's Malachi, I think
Oh,
that's the name. He's the closest person that's he's hinting at it, but they always bring him back in like, yo, you gotta be
Yeah,
careful.
you gotta be careful.
How you break the breakdown. You're saying too much now. So he's like, he gotta go back to the bullshit of it's really sin. It's sin. It's all this extra. I'm like, bro, you know what it is, bro. You literally say it without saying it. So I'm like, yeah, you
So what
guys,
you
they
saying
know.
now?
He's saying that the last video I saw, I think it was yesterday, he was saying that basically went through the whole thing about the system and all that, and then he gonna tie in that Cesare Borgia bullshit, the image. I'm like, yo, this shit is so old, bro. Like, mad people in IUIC right now, I know they watch brothers' videos and they know what the MOTB is.
They want to.
They want to, exactly, because of the ties into it. Whatever it is that Nate got on you dudes, man, he's got you niggas on some shit, man. You need to run away from all that and turn back to the Lord now, because IUIC, they all going down. They all going down. When the Lord starts taking niggas out, and all of a sudden, no. We saw the videos. Everybody heard what you guys said, man.
Yeah, some of them, it's gonna come out why they're not saying that. And some of them, the Lord's gonna put the spirit on them, but they're gonna be like, look, man, they're gonna repent, you know, and they're gonna say it openly, like, yo, I wanted to. Every time I wanted to say it, but then they'd always, say, nah, you can't, or X, Y, and Z, and so on and so forth. Whatever the reason is, it's gonna come out. But we know the truth. And that's why the scripture says it shall make you free. Because we're free. We come out here and we teach freely. Look, man, we ain't out here, oh my gosh, like, I know the truth, but I can't teach. No. We'll do 100 videos on the truth.
Hey, these guys, man, it's crazy because he's literally sinning as he's speaking. He's telling you it's sin, but he's sinning as he's speaking by lying to you. Thou shalt not lie, and also put a stumbling block before the blind. So you already breaking two laws,
right,
in one. Plus, there's probably other ones I can't even remember. Oh, being a false prophet. What's that? Deuteronomy 13. But y'all breaking all types of laws as you're adultery, as y'all speaking, slandering, raising a false report. You just look. It's just like the list keeps getting longer, man. Like when you at the traffic stop and the officer come with that big ass thing. You're like, damn, yeah, we hitting you up with all these charges, man. Because y'all going to hell off.
You in court. Yeah, you got it, bro.
You were talking about how, like, the spirit has to come point to you understand.
Right.
So in high school, I remember that you were talking to this chick about reincarnation in the gym, and I've never heard about reincarnation before. And you were with her for like 10, 15 minutes trying to explain to her, but she just couldn't get it. And then I came in less than a minute. I instantly got it. I was like, oh, and I just went back to playing ball.
Yeah, I think it might have been Danielle, somebody like that. But yeah, no, that makes sense. Pretty much in the whole, because it was a building with it was a building with 7 schools in it. It was a building with 7 schools in it, and hang it. Oh, okay. It was a building with 7 schools in there. So not one school, 7 different schools. That's 7 different floors in there. Of all 7 different schools, myself and only two other brothers, that's him and Ayaj, we basically understood it. And the whole I made sure all seven schools heard about it. Whether it's in the cafeteria or wherever it was, they all heard about it. Everybody talking about scriptures. And in there you had certain people in there that were also Israelites, amongst the staff. but they believe something else, something different. But anyway, hey, that goes to show you how the Spirit of the Lord works. At that point, we weren't hearing shit. Got it, bro.
Back in Proverbs 1:24, because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded.
Yeah, and that reminded me because I remember that there would be like, people would talk to you regularly. If you were talking about basketball, you're talking about regular conversation, and they actually said it like, yo, you see, this one I like this version. Like you mad cool and stuff like that. But when you start talking that Bible stuff, man, he wasn't in that class. But I remember we had a substitute teacher one day, so everybody's basically doing whatever they're doing. And at the table where I sat at, you had a couple of smart people there. So they'll give us a task, and everybody comes there so they can just copy and get the work done and then just leave class. That table was packed. The substitute teacher came over there. Apparently, she wasn't aware of what was going on. So she got up into it. I got into it with her. Literally in less than 2 minutes. Huh? Yeah, she hadn't heard. Less than 2 minutes. Literally, they went to every other table, but that it's just me and her just going back and forth. She's talking about you can eat whatever you want. So you can eat human meat. And now she's like, if I say no, it's like that what the Lord did with them with John. Mm-hmm. If I say no, then I'm going against what I said. Right. But if I say yeah, then he's validating his point. It's gonna say they say, yeah, you can eat human meat. I say, are you fucking like
I know you was giving them help.
You probably do eat human meat, you crazy ass.
It's in the Matrix.
As the principal ducking and shit. Hey, yeah, he go the other way, get some class.
Lord had you at the center of at the table that had knowledge, but they still had wicked imagination. So if you want to bring up the precept in Proverbs that says Proverbs chapter 6, verse 18, then verse that devises of wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and running towards mischief. They would quick to run in the opposite of direction of that inquisitive conversation he was having with the substitute teacher. You know what I'm saying? So as far as it was nonsense, because to get the answers to their work, to get them out of class, nonsense. But what you was bringing was words of wisdom, which was questioning the ability to eat human meat and all that. They wasn't interested.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So they ran towards the mischief, like, oh, this table ain't what we need right now. Yeah. So, the heart that has imagination, wicked imaginations, is quick to run into the wrong direction. They walk past us week in and week out, teaching this truth. But like you said, on the internet, they'll stumble across it, go private, you know what I'm saying, instead of dealing with it like a man and speaking to us face to face, get the answer that they need to the question that they ask. But when they scoff and don't have the questions to be answered, it's the easy way out. That's the bitch way out. Oh, that's like the sucker punching. So, that time is gonna come, man, where the family is gonna be of the word as well. So, I have the mercy of getting this knowledge now. Stop and ask questions, or even if you have to watch it on the internet, but that time is coming, man.
A lot of them got marked. They got marked, like every single one of them, they got marked because they heard what it was. And they blatantly, and I remember this one chick, she said blatantly, I don't know if you were there, but she said it. She looked, I said, the time is gonna come when you're gonna need help. She said it, she said, look, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I don't care what happens. I am never, ever going to need you or your God to help me do nothing ever in my life. He said that. And I looked at her, I said, yo, I looked at her dead in the face. I said, there's going to be a time where you're going to regret these exact words you just said. Because she blatantly said it. Because I was saying, I was using the name. I told her, I said, look, time is coming. She said, no, you or your God, I'm never going to need your help with anything. I'm good. Oh, shit. Y'all are bold as hell, man.
Yeah, hey man, it came to mind and me and this brother DeBar and myself talking about it, and the theme of Maranatha. Yeah, that's a perfect application to that. Well, I was thinking like a lot of times when people piss you off or get on your nerves, and the theme of Maranatha. That's it. Sums it up real quick. What's that mean? Look it up. But it means, just to break it down for y'all, I'm saying when you tell people, I'm not, listen, you don't care, and the theme of Maranatha. That's on you. but it basically means you're set apart for judgment till the Lord comes.
Yep.
That's what it means when you look it up.
At a special place, reserved for judgment. That's good.
That's mad great.
I got a quick precept to back you up on what you said about how out of you got a school that has 4 different schools, and there was only the 3 of you guys that was actually in, like waking up to the truth.
Yep.
There's a book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 14. It says, "Turn, O backsliding children," and that's what you were telling them. You know, saith the Lord Yahweh, and you use that name Yahweh.
Oh yeah.
For I am married unto you, right? You are the children of Israel. You are the Most High's people, okay? And I will take you, one of a city and 2 of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. Zion, really.
Like, you know, he said that. I just remembered. You know how in high school they be having fire drill. So that everybody has to basically get out of the school and go way outside, and then eventually come back in. And I remember once we were going back in, man, them high school stories or something. But we were going back inside, and I forgot who I was talking to, but you had this group that would always adamantly come against me, man. These 220s always come against me and shit. And they were like, nah, that ain't his name. They were saying something, and I told them, no, that's not his name. Yeah. And they got me tight. So what is his name? And I said it with like a very like semi-loud but angry voice. And I said it in the Hebrew. I said, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Everybody got quiet. And everybody turned around and got quiet for like a good 5 seconds. And then they were like, oh, it's this guy. And then they went back to their regular BS and madness. Yep. So that's when I say like they got marked. They every single day. You know, forget class. If I was in that class, we wouldn't have class. Yep. And I would make sure I always pull the professors into it too. You had this one Edomite, you would always fall for it. I come to class late and I'm like, I'm really not trying to read this book right here. So I'll start a back and forth debate with one of the students, and I say things that will provoke the professor to come over there and get into it. Next thing you know, the whole class, he's right there at that table going back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, so what about this? So what about that? He's like, nope, this, that, that. They used to call me martial law because I would always talk about martial law. Martial law's coming. Martial law's coming. Martial law. Well, guess what? Martial law is coming.
That's right.
And when it gets here, then people they're gonna remember all of those things. Yep. They're gonna remember very vividly all of those things. We told them about the sea hip. We told them about the martial law. We told them they were Israelites. We told them the whole doctrine, and yet they still scoffed them to this day.
Like when Yahweh Shai was young, going back and forth with the doctors and those that had knowledge at the time. Basically, what you were doing. Very.
Yeah. Then lost a lot of you lose a lot of quote unquote friends at that point. You find that's not really your friends, you know. But then they come right back anyway. So
when the shit that you were saying goes down, they start hitting you up.
Yep.
Yo, you seen this? Yo,
you
it's like now you tuning in.
Right.
It's too late. It's here. When I was telling you about it to get ready, it was because it wasn't here yet. You had time to get ready. Now it's here. What you gonna do? You gonna hit me up to help you get ready? It's already here. Go deal with it.
Right.
You know.
Mark the way.
It's here. What up?
Right.
What of it?
Right.
What are you gonna do about it? What are you doing right now?
Right.
We all see clearly. It's like, yeah, the sun is out. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me know that. Now, what the hell are you gonna do about it? Are you changing your life? Have you repented? Are you calling on the name Yahweh Shem Yahweh? That's when the conversation ends.
Right. Yeah, talk about the precept.
Yeah. This is just in response to what you were talking about with your. I think you said one of your classmates that said, "Oh, we like this version of you."
Yeah.
Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. So when you start talking spiritual stuff, it's too much for him. He'd rather just talk about, basketball, video games, things like that's easier for him because he can relate. But when you start speaking spiritual things, I can't relate to it. I can't talk about that.
And the thing is, they would always keep coming back because they couldn't find a way around the doctrine that I was teaching them because I'd always been precepts to back it up. And you'd have those students that were always like these are the Bible students, the ones that always, and they'd always try to avoid me too.
Like you mentioned, the one where you women should not teach.
Her, she was after that day she was done. But you know what was interesting? One of them actually testified about it. I was telling him, I was reading a precept to him in was it Luke, where it says that they shall speak evil of you, for they did so did their fathers to the prophets of old, and woe unto you when they shall speak good of you. I broke it down to him and I said, watch. And literally that interaction that happened over there, he himself, now he's not a believer. He didn't believe afterwards, but at that very moment he testified. He said, yo, literally he was like shocked at that instant because he was like, "Yo, that's crazy how literally exactly what you're reading is literally exactly what is happening right here." And he like wholeheartedly testified that, and it goes to show you that it's the truth because at that moment he spoke the truth, but it doesn't mean that he was going to be, one of the elect anyway.
Precept. Proverbs 17:10. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool.
Yep, he entereth more into than 100. Yeah, because the reason you got to 100 is because 99 ain't work, and that's the reason you won't get to 101 because 100 ain't gonna work. Because a fool, as it says, is like speaking onto one that is in a slumber. Right? You tell him the tale, and he'll wake up and say, "What happened?" Right? They can't perceive it. I believe in Sirach it says a fool is like a potsherd that is glued back together after it's broken. It shall never. Yeah, you can pull that out. It shall never hold any. You can't hold any water or anything in it. You gluing back a potsherd is not gonna make it the way it was before. And that's like a fool. It says what is that? You weep little for one that is dead, but for a fool his whole life. Because if you're a fool, being dead is better than being a fool your whole life, basically. And that's these people. That's actually a very scary thing to be in because they don't realize that the majority of the world today are fools. And you know what proves that? They don't even know the definition of a fool. Right.
Hey, that's why it's selective, bro. That's why you have that's how the scripture says folly is set in great dignity. Only fools engage in folly, really, because the word fool comes from folly, and the word folly comes from fool, right? When you read the word actually folly, it says mental weakness, foolish behavior or character, right? Foolish behavior or character, that's folly. It says unwise conduct. Now you could take it even a step further and say conduct that is detrimental to your actual life. When you engage in folly, a lot of people, especially here in Babylon, I remember like a few years ago, you had a group of guys, I forget their name, something bros or something like that, and they used to be like on YouTube, and they'll be doing all kinds of different stunts and shit. Like they'll get like a short little the mini people, the short people, and they'll do all kinds of different pranks, and they'll be abusing these people, man. Like you pick them up and then you toss them like mad high, and you go crashing down.
Oh, I know.
I forget the name of it. Yeah, that shit. And I'm like, yo, people actually do this stuff. Like this is the most stupidest thing ever. Like you're hurting yourself just for views and like it's like what the fuck?
Yeah, they'll get stung by some water.
Yeah. Or somebody get kicked in the nuts and then he's screaming and they're laughing and I'm like, what is this stupid shit? Nowadays they got this other thing where it pops up every now and again on my feed where you got two people standing there with chalk in their hands. They slap what like bang, then the nigga you gotta stand firm. Yeah. I'm like, who came up with this dumbass shit, bro?
Yeah,
power style, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, the big bad dude.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he just looking at you. Yo, some dude got smacked so hard. I think it was a chick. She was some Asian looking chick. She got hit so hard, her face looked like an Edomite. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, like her features changed.
Yeah, black features now. Big nose, big lips.
I was like, damn, she look attractive now. Got her whole shit rearranged. But I'm like, this is folly. Who's engaging in this dumbass shit? And they actually do it. I'm like, how do you get paid? You can lose your ear, like your hearing, bro. Somebody smack your eardrums out of place, man. You're done. But this is what they do. They engage in this type of dumbass shit. Only in America would you see them come up with all kinds of different movies and shows and games. You know what I'm saying? All because of what? Entertainment. Entertainment? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. But this is what you get in America, man. It says here.
Oh, they showed you that in Childish Gambino's music video. This is America.
This is America. Yeah. Mad
Subliminal
confusion.
shit.
Yeah, mad confusion, man. Mad confusion, bro. You know? It says what? It says wickedness, lewdness. That's what you see with these women.
Yeah.
Being scantily clad, that's all part of folly, man. Because you what you do with that type of behavior is you bring out a foolish man's true intentions. A man who's in discipline, he's disciplined, he's not, that shit don't really bother him like that. Yeah, we're gonna look, but we're not gonna really, it's not gonna affect us. But a fool who's engaged in folly and that lewd behavior, that's what it turns them on. They get all crazy like a freaking uncontrolled dog with rabies, man. You know, fucking wet in the mouth and shit. You know, foaming at the mouth. Yeah, fact in the boy time. flies or shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they get all like, oh yeah, women salivate. Yeah, Rick Ross, you know, and he just got all Diddy.
Yeah, they
Diddy
get
all,
Diddy mode.
yeah, like they behave like them dudes that after Diddy got off, they outside with the oil and shit. That nigga dancing and shit. Yeah. That's crazy work. But this is what America pushes, and it's all what to deviate people's attention from the truth, from the stuff that really brings you that light. You know, we live in a world that's filled with darkness, and they constantly, every day, when you turn on the TV, it's filled with more darkness, programming your mind to accept that darkness. And eventually you become that darkness because you start practicing what you watch on TV. You know, the things that you hear on the music thing, it's all wicked ass vibrations, man. And people don't even really understand that. It's like, yo, it's high level witchcraft and magic on a sorcery, man, on a whole nother level. Isaiah 47 is not written for nothing, man. Right. All right, you got it, bro.
I just think the other day for 5,000 venoms, classic. But these deadly venoms were disguised. No one, these two didn't know the other two, whatever. But it was two bad guys. The venom that they possessed, that Christ can kill you. But what it was, the intriguing part of it is that no one knew who these venoms were. Deadly venoms. That's how it is in the world. Y'all don't know what y'all dealing with is wickedness, so it's easy to be captivated by it. Things that people absorb as entertainment, they something that's totally affecting them on the level of completeness
Thank you.
and spirituality. It literally is a positive spiritual freedom. Like the things that we watch and, on the internet, it is with the Scorpio vision, like looking at it to get wisdom and possibly do a video down on it because it's wickedness and we want to expose the wickedness of the world. But other people look at it as a source of entertainment of this is their way to get through on a day-to-day basis. Like the brother said, this is what y'all watch y'all having what is it called? Love Island watch parties. That stuff is something that taking your mind off of, training the scriptures, understanding the scriptures, which helps us build up spiritual ability, So when you watch out for these things in the world that captivate you, look at it as the sense of some type of poison, some type of venom that's going to cause you to be stirred away from that. But that movie was hell because all five of them, they all wasn't venoms. They all wasn't deadly venom. Some of them were good guys, even though they had the venom of, something deadly that could kill you, but they wasn't using this gift for killing, which is like fight with the counterpart, the other two, the snake tentacles. But the toad and the scorpion, they got venom, but they wasn't using it for wickedness. You know what I'm saying? So we be speaking venom too. When it come out the scriptures, they like this, like the brother said, it's a double-edged sword. Scripture to cut the wickedness. Venom,
It's like the Game of Thrones where you have Sam Tully. How he wasn't the most elite with the sword. He didn't have no special powers. He couldn't control dragons, but he had intelligence, right? And that ended up saving their lives a couple of times because whenever they needed like a crucial thing to be done, he would say, "Oh, we could actually go over here. I know they have this over there." And the one time they were outside the wall and they heard the horn, and they heard I think it was like 3 times. He was like, "Yeah, we got to go like now because that means like X, Y, and Z." They're like, "How the hell do you know that?" He's all read it in the book. And so it's like people focus more on what's the main character? Jon Snow, right? They focus more on like the Lannisters and all these main characters here. What's her name? Daenerys Stormborn. But there's certain things like in the plot that if Sam was not there, they wouldn't have been able to succeed at that whole entire thing. Because he's like that one pillar right there where he just is that one key word that he says that actually allows this whole plan to still survive. Right? How many times did he come up with a plan and say, okay, let's do this, let's do that, and so on and so forth? And that's what they fail to understand. I got you. Sometimes the most important characters are really those that can give you the crucial information that you need. The main character, he's protected by plot armor. Plot armor is basically where it's not like the character is strong, but based on how the story is written, he just never dies. Right. You know, he just somehow manages to escape a dangerous situation. That's called plot armor. That's how these main characters survive. It's not by their intelligence and whatnot. And you see that especially in these like movies with female protagonists and shit. It's just plot armor. It just so happened that at the very moment where Diego was about to take those two women in the purge, the freaking troops kicked in the door and then they shot up Diego and shit. Got it, bro.
Or certain anime, when you about to get plucked in your eye, you get an upgrade within a millisecond out of nowhere. Yeah. And the dude over here, like, what the hell is this? Yeah, that's flower. Yeah, out of nowhere. But there was one thing that you mentioned even in the show that he was the one that told him about. I think it was like the dragon ice or something like that.
Yeah.
He was the one that first killed the White Walker. Yeah, that's right. What it was. So if he didn't know that or do that,
they would have been cooked. Then they're gonna have the female do the one who stabbed the guy at the end. But you know, that's just Esau throwing in his it was the Arya or something. Esau throwing his shit up in there. But anyway, where we at?
you know, like push me out the way.
Oh, boy, where you at? Come here.
So, back in you want to go Proverbs 1:25, but ye have said at not all my counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity.
Yeah. So they don't give a damn about the counsel of the Lord. And it's as crazy as it is today, right? The counsel of the Lord. Go back to the time of Joshua. What happened when they didn't go and inquire at the Lord's mouth before listening to those the Jebusites, I think it was. And now you made a pact with them, and the Lord's like, well, I would have told you that they were lying, but you ain't come to me first. Right? And it's crazy because it was like you thought it was a simple thing. Oh, but that's just a simple decision. I mean, they're not part of them. It's an obvious decision, right? Oh, okay. And now you see what's going on. So it goes to show you that you gotta seek counsel from the Lord. But these things with the Lord is like, I'm doing this because I care about you. Like, you realize that? Like, I'm telling you that all hell is about to break through. I'm bringing the judgment, and I'm giving you. It's like if a Edomite comes to class and he's like, "Yo, go to the bathroom," and he opens the backpack and he shows you the freaking AR, whatever's in there, you know, and he's like, "Yo, you go. You need to use the bathroom now, don't you?" Yeah. You know. Here it is. He's calling the professor, such and such needs to use the bathroom. Can he please be excused? The other dumbass gonna say, "No, I'm good. I don't gotta use the bathroom." And why you got a gun in your bag? Now you cook. You cook below everybody. You might be the first one getting cooked. That's everybody. You know, everybody getting cooked. And that's basically Jake today. The Lord is like, yo, go to the bathroom so you don't have to be a part of this here. And they're like, nah, I ain't going nowhere. In fact, I'm gonna blow up the whole spot. I'm gonna scoff at it. What do you think is gonna happen to you? Did you sit down and think logically in your mind, okay, we're in a classroom, the exit is really far over there. Even if I try to run, he'd probably get me because he has a gun. And he has a gun. That's a gun. I don't have anything like that. So what's possibly gonna happen if I don't just go to the bathroom? That's the thing. People don't think like that until they're in. You ever seen like the mist of the chaos and you wonder how did this person get themselves into this in the first place? Because this chick thought it was okay to go and talk shit to a group of men. Now she's getting her face slapped in and everything, and you rewind and you find out it's because she was talking mad shit to this guy. I saw a video of this dude. He tried to holler at a chick, right? He tried to say something to a chick, and this chick cursed him. She cursed his ass out, him and his whole family line. You know, cursed him out left and right just because he came to say hello. And I'm thinking in my head, so if the dude got mad and he went from spit it out. Hey, stop that. So if the dude got mad and he decides to drop kick her ass, she ain't gonna have the strength to fight back. But yeah, she's cursing him out like as if she's the freaking Hulk and he's her bitch. You see?
There's nothing more demoralizing when you're going through distress. Somebody's laughing at you. You're going through the worst hell. I'm dying hell. And there's a group over there. It's like, yo, it's like, damn, nobody gives a fuck about me. No, because you had many different opportunities to get out of it.
Yeah.
There was like, you going off the cliff and it's like, it's a detour here. Next exit is cliff. Get off of here. No, keep going. And then there's another one. Listen, in case you missed the last one, we give you another one. Yeah, this is it though. Nah, I'm good. They don't know what they're talking about. Third one. Listen, this is really it. Hey, yo,
Must be a fool.
Yeah, you really.
if you made it this far, you're a fucking idiot. But yo, there's one more chance. Nope, I'm going.
Right up ahead. Oh, there was a scene like that in was it China? It was a highway where I forgot what happened. The first one made a mistake and caused an accident, and there was a fog. So all the other cars that were coming full speed. And yo, by the time this was done, it looked like a what they call that? The jam, traffic jam, but it was just accident. Because cars are coming full speed, boom, then another one, boom, then another one. And people are like, yo, wait, oh, boom. And they just coming right full speed up in there. You know, just like what you were saying. Here it is, the signs. The signs are pointing to do not do X, Y, and Z, and yet that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, so you see that a lot with, and that's how America is going to be, because just like how you see in a wintertime, you might go to a different state. They even show it sometimes, whereas like the roads are so slippery with all that ice, cars can't stop. There's no traction.
Right.
That's how it's going to be when this place is going down.
Right.
There's no traction to stop it. There's nothing you could do about it, man. When you're driving and your car spins out, there's no turn you could do or no brakes you could hit or accelerator that you could hit that's going to change the direction in which the car is going to go in. You're going to just brace yourself and end up in a ditch somewhere if you don't die, you know? But as you already mentioned about these fools out here, that's why the scriptures tell you that the Lord said he's going to laugh when your calamity cometh. So there's nothing worse than being in a hard time and people are laughing at you, man. You know, especially when you're hungry and you're sad. I mean, those two things go together. When you're hungry, you become angry. That's what Esau's going to predicate on that, man. All these communities, all these streets, all these cities. That's why Second Ezra says that what they shall they're going to be attacking one another for lack of bread, right? Baiting one another for lack of bread and for great tribulation. You know, when you're not like the Snickers bar commercial, you're not yourself when you're hungry. You know, and a lot of people are about to be starving, not hungry, starving. You know, for days without food, without water. All right, you're gonna be questioning your president, and meanwhile he's gonna be sending more money to Israel over there, man. You know,
They showed in the Boondocks when was it the fried chicken flu?
yeah.
When he had Obama in the bunker.
Yep.
He was broadcasting. People were thinking he got an important update about how the vaccine is science. He's talking about how he's good. Bo is good. Michelle's good. The kids. But you know, you guys take care of yourself out there. And people are dying and shit. And every couple of hours you'll come on there, you know, just want to give you an update. You know, we got the AC working out. We got the live band, food. But I'm good. Bo's good. Michelle's good. The kids, you know. But y'all, God bless America. You know, and people are dying on the streets, and that's what's going to be happening over here. So it's like what Haran is saying. You're going to be looking for help. Ain't going to be no help for you. You're going to be hiding in your house, and somebody going to come in there. Here, imagine you come home and there's somebody already there waiting. You know. Oh, I came and nobody was here, so I made myself at home. I figured the owner will come back soon.
Forget the squatters.
Yeah, forget the squatters. You're gonna have more issues to worry about.
It reminded me of Trump. Y'all seen the video when Trump went up to the dude who lost both his legs in war?
Oh
He
yeah,
said,
yeah.
they hit you pretty hard.
Pretty
Right?
hard, right? Yeah.
It's like, no shit. He's like, you guys. So they hit you, huh? It's like, what do you think happened, man? I lost both my goddamn legs.
He said, hit you pretty good. He said the word good.
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
hit
how's
you
it
good.
Good, right?
It was like an episode of The Office, man, with this guy. It's like a sitcom, bro. This shit is made up. But he is a television star, right?
So on WWE and all that.
When he goes, he was I got Dr. Calamity right now. The same way the Lord gonna lie for Dr. Calamity was dealing with him in the first place.
You don't give a damn about right? I'm not trying to be politically correct. You know, because in his mind, you know what it is? He thinks he got plot armor. He thinks that because whoever put the batteries in his back, when they put him back in office again, they're telling him, look, this is your chance to run wild. You know, this is your chance to make it happen. We set everything up for you. Nobody's gonna be able to come against you. Look at how we set up the political structure. You know, we set up the certain judges, certain people in certain positions. So you all set, bro. Do what you gotta do. Don't worry about what anybody else is gonna say. So he's in there like, that might be what we do next. And I can care less. But we'll get it done.
And they got him angry during Biden's term. They got to piss them off even more. We're gonna persecute you. We're gonna make you a felon now, and now unleash him on the Democrats. Let's see what happens. Whoop. Let's see what happens. And it's gonna be judgment, man. We know, and that's why they setting up. You see this new mayor in NYC coming in. That's all for division, like the brother went into on the lesson. That's all for division, man. So now they're gonna make the left-leaning cities, they leaning even more into it. They're not saying, no, we're gonna go to the middle, Trump Taylor try to work it out. No, they're like, we're gonna go even more left. Do something about it. What do you think Trump's gonna do? You might actually see a mayor get arrested by ICE and deport that nigga. Then what? Pandemonium.
I mean, they did put that out there to set the tone with the whole thing that was going on with LA. Newsom coming out and saying that, Trump's coming to arrest me. Yeah, maybe I will. So he's setting the tone. They're not really going to go after Newsom because he's part of the plan. But you will have certain people in these positions that are legit going to have a problem with what Trump is doing, and they're going to be used as examples. It's that easy. You're going to have pastors. You're going to have people that are going to go against the grain, and they're going to be made examples of quickly. Where we at?
Proverbs 1:26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh.
The brother said, man, there's nothing more demoralizing than that. You in need of help, and the one that can help you is laughing at you. Like, you hurt. And, sometimes you get real pissed because you're like, yo, look at the condition I'm in. Anybody in their right mind would immediately be here helping me right now. But you just realize that, help is optional. Like, people don't have to help. Like, you realize that I actually, if you were in a hospital setting and all hell broke loose, the nurse does not have to stay there and cater to your ass. And that's why it says what it says in Ezekiel 9:4, because when imagine those people that end up in the hospital cell, those that need special care, all hell breaks loose. Who do you think is the nurse gonna wake up saying, I gotta go work and take care of John? Meanwhile, all hell is breaking loose here and I got a family. And you stuck in the hospital bed waiting for your morning breakfast and nothing comes through. Because the doctor's not there, the nurses are not there, nobody's there, everybody abandoned post. Right. And now you're stuck in a bed and you're cooked. So when that time comes, right, the Lord says, I'm going to laugh at your calamity. You're going to be suffering and you're not going to get help. You're going to be getting chased. You're running. You're almost out of breath. And here it is. You can see somebody that can help you. Oh, you're almost there. You're almost there. No, you're not. Close the door and it's that. And now you're stuck out there. And that's what the Lord is going to do. And the Lord is going to make sure there's no way you're getting out of this. Newsflash, buddy. Those it all works out at the end kind of themed movies. It's not real life. Okay, if that was the case, you wouldn't have news articles coming out about somebody got murdered. When they do the detectives and they find out how gruesome of a torturous situation they went through, and then at the end they killed them. They didn't get saved at the end. So you're gonna find yourself in some abandoned building somewhere, waiting, thinking, okay, all right, usually in the movie somebody will hear me if I try this. Let me try screaming. And the only thing that's going to happen is the nigga that kidnapped you is going to come back down there like, why the hell are you screaming? Right. And then slap you up some more. Right. You're not. What is it? Joe Goldberg. Yeah, some Joe Goldberg. You end up in a bookcase shit, and you stuck in there. Yeah, tormented.
Hey, but what's crazy? I saw a video yesterday, and it was saying that the IDF soldiers, what they're doing to the women in Palestine, the women and children, the females. What are they doing? There was this video where they blindfolded this chick, and they held both her hands up, pinned her to the wall. And then they started taking turns on her, man. Right then and there. It's sad, bro, but this is the reality. And you know what the rest of the other soldiers were doing? They had their armor up, and they're kind of side by side with each other to block off any camera that could see what's going on behind, man. And they out there just plowing her shit out. And I'm like, yo, this is what's going to be happening in Babylon. These IDF soldiers, these soldiers in Ukraine, all these Russian places, they're going to bring them over. Yeah, they're going to be coming over here, man. Why do you think America and Israel are lying together like that? Them IDF niggas, them niggas is on some different type of time. I'm talking about wickedness on a whole nother level. And they're coming here to shred ass out. All right? Yeah, legit. That's shred ass out. Yeah, that just came up. But that's what they're gonna be doing. They're gonna be running and they have a severe lust for you Latinas and black women, man. They have a severe lust for you women. And they're gonna be coming in here and they're gonna be drilling the fuck out of you women, man. And what the drill sergeant type shit. They're going to be going in, man, and they can't wait. When you look at all the other wars that's happened, even in Europe, and how diabolical and sadistic Esau is, man. And now the Lord is saying, no, it's free range. Go ahead and do it all. You ain't nobody gonna stop him. There is no sense of consciousness that's gonna stop them. There's no, oh, hey, you guys, hey, that's too much. You're going too far. Nah, bro. That's why you think they're putting all this information out there to desensitize you? That hey, even children could be looked at as in a sexual manner, right? They got the whole maps thing. That's all desensitization. Why didn't people rise up and be like, hey, we ain't with this shit, man? That should have been the reaction. Ain't no pedophiles are getting rights now. It's just a sexual what they call it? Preference? Yeah. It's a sexual preference. Nah, bro. Everybody should, especially the men, should have gotten up in the cities and gone straight to your White House and all that and start raising hell, man. When Biden and them started that shit. Even Obama's time, man. You niggas should have been out there on some shit like, yo, you ain't running this shit over here. You should have been going to the schools, storming them schools and really raising hell. That's what you should have done, man. But you didn't do that. You docile ass, pussy ass niggas, you didn't do shit. You were just sitting there. Meanwhile, we doing the real work. We doing the real work, and you have the nerve to come against us, man. Hey, may the Most High destroy every one of you last niggas, man. Wicked ass dudes, Most High's gonna get all you niggas, man. IDF niggas is coming.
You had a dude confessing that on camera, talking to some other dude, explaining his mindset behind why he's a proud map. He's a proud map. Like fucking map that came out of Boots' backpack and Dora the Explorer map. He came out here talking about it all started when he was younger. He saw this neighborhood, his neighbor's daughter. She was a little young thing, and at first he thought it was just a phase, but it wasn't until like high school and college where you realized she was really beautiful. What the fuck is wrong with you, bro? And you had it was a clip, those clips that get reacted to. There was a clip, and then you had a Jake dude reacted to it. He said no. He said, yeah, no. That's we're not doing that. That's one thing we are never, ever, ever going to accept that shit. But guess what? Pretty sure they said the same thing about sodomites. Right. Said the same thing about TGs. You know why they have a process called gradualism, and it's still here because it works. And that's what they're pushing and pushing and pushing. The maps that are out here, guess what? You're gonna find out how many people that overtly look like they're normal and are secretly maps. You know when you're gonna find out? When all hell is breaking loose. Mm-hmm. Like in them scenes from The Purge, when they got the whole family tied up. And then you had the dude, he's in there, he got the whole family tied up, and he's like, all right, now I'm gonna get my pick. Now, who do I want? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Right? That's when you're gonna realize, oh, this guy's the whole thing. Because this is who he's going after, and this is what he's doing. And they're gonna have weapons. The thing about it is the sickest ones are the ones who they have the secret basement. They got the cutouts of the face, the wall, the pins and shit with the threads, and they got weapons. And they're watching your OnlyFans, watching your social media. A lot of you chicks out here, you like to post where you are. Right? Oh, I'm over here, just got here, taking this trip over here. You're recording where you are, what you're doing. They're looking at it. You ever seen those clips where they post a picture and just by their sneakers alone, somebody's in a comment board identifying their address and their name and everything? Oh, I looked at the grass, thin blade. Thin blade only grows in Kentucky around this time of the year. And so I looked at the nearest sneaker store and I see, oh, that car license plate. I searched it up. I found out your name is Tim. Your dad's name is John. So I found out that John recently purchased some sneakers here for his daughter Sally. Oh, so now your name is Sally. What the fuck? But they on some, like you said, Joe Goldberg joint. Now they know where you live. They know where you got your sneakers. They know what time you go where. They know when to break in. Yeah, you're wondering, how does somebody who lives in Japan got me in the basement in Alabama? Because this nigga he found this opportunity when Biden's borders were open, and he came in here and he waited. Dude got a job as a freaking doctor somewhere and waited for his time, and now here it is, you in the basement in Alabama.
Joe Goldberg's voice narrating the whole thing.
Hello, you.
Yeah. From Japan for you.
From Japan for you. You season 6. That's it. Yeah, you got it, bro.
Oh, yeah, it was just going off along the lines of what Aharon was saying. Because essentially, that's what the Most High is going to give the women what they want. Yeah. You've always talked about you want the long ride, you want this, you want to cloud out. Well, what you want. But it's not going to be how you want.
That's the credit. That's it. Yeah. Two in Proverbs, right?
Right in there.
Yeah, it's right in there. And that's a part of the calamity. That's the part of the calamities. Yeah, it's shredded like a razor blade. Right?
So they call it getting cut, right?
Yeah.
Some cut and slap. It just a thought came to mind. But see, that's what's going to also probably make some women what cover up, because they're gonna start seeing women and hearing stories, but oh, they're getting taken. No, not the dog. Cool down.
I was.
No, it wasn't him. He's good. But some of these women gonna start covering up. What? They gonna start getting an order. Why? When they see women start getting slapped up, start getting punched for how they talk, I could envision it already. You're gonna have some scenario where women say, "Oh, you can't talk to me like you can't do it." She gets gumba. Blah. That's gonna set the tone for everybody else. They're gonna nice, quiet. You ever sometimes see mouse in the house? They be like this in the corner when when you come in the kitchen or something, they be like this.
Yeah, you got them.
They looking at you, looking at them. They just waiting for you to be like, yeah, jump at me or something.
Perfect example. They ain't gonna be doing that in that time. They ain't gonna be just like that either. And you know the thing about it, the unfortunate part is their plan ain't gonna work. You know why? Because look, niggas going out the damn accident over some pussy. Yeah. What happens is when all hell breaks loose, dudes be so crazy out here. They don't care what you look like. As long as you got long hair, you look like a woman. They might mistake a dude for a woman, but these dudes don't care what you look like. I was watching a movie, I think, with Aaron years ago, and in the movie, it was like a lot of people had died, so it was only a very few people left. And one of the, so it's fewer chicks. There's like one or two chicks in there, and this chick is flatter than she's flat as strip from her back, shoulder blades in the back to her heels. It's all just flat. You're playing. Yes, you're playing. And then her pants are still sagging. So you wondering what is it? The shit going inward like a left hand sign, but so her shit was just nothing. It was nothing there, and dudes were still fighting over her. Like man, I need to grab her up and shit. And so if you look like that and dudes are chasing you, then the average woman is still in trouble anyway. The fact that you're a woman is the problem. You had recently they tried to deport somebody and they said he was a cannibal. He tried to eat himself on the flight, so they had to basically stop because they're like, "Yo, we got to give him a medical treatment because they think that it was the Chitauri." Yeah, Agori or whatever. They're Agori. That's the known cannibals. And you have some of these tribes from different Central and South Asia that do that shit. So they're gonna come and stay. They're gonna shred you, and then they're gonna actually eat you.
They eat the flesh and then gnaw the bone.
Yeah.
What you just named? You talking about that one Edomite dude? Hey, dude, shut the fuck up.
Get somebody distracted while I slip away.
Maybe this is a good idea.
Because he went there with that Edomite shit. Well, he's a journalist and whatnot, and he goes to a known cannibal tribe, and they're sitting there. They got face paint and everything, hair messed up, and they're sitting there. They got this it's like I don't know if it's like crab spike chain or some shit around their neck. And he sits there. The guy takes it off because it's sharp, but they're used to the cut. He takes it off. He slams it on the guy's neck. The guy, he's quietly sitting there. And his dumbass keeps asking questions because here, that's how you build rapport. You say the things that they want to hear, and then they start to like it. It's reverse over there. So the guy keeps saying, so you guys actually eat candy? So why the fuck would we be here if we don't actually eat people? And then he keeps asking questions, and the guy gets tight. The leader's like, this nigga won't stop talking. If he don't stop talking, I'm gonna eat him right now. Tell him that. Then he starts calling the camera guy like, don't go safe over here.
It's tone change.
It's tone change, but they don't really eat them, And so them known cannibals, they're gonna be out here because the scriptures prophesy about cannibalism too. And you know the worst kind. The scriptures don't prophesy like when it talks about cannibalism, it's the kind where normal people become cannibals because of the desperate situations. But like when you read about Kings, it was mothers that were eating their children. It wasn't even like just like strange, random strangers. No, it was mothers that were eating their children. Now, how long is the child gonna last for you? A day or two? Eventually, if they eat their child, there's no going back from that. They're waiting for them, yo, you able to eat your own child. How much more for a random stranger? They showed you that in the movie The Road. If anybody's ever seen that, where the father and his son, they stumbled upon a house. And when they went to the basement, it was just like humans, naked, hands chained up to the roof and shit. Some of them just freely walking, and they were the livestock. And the same thing was happening in The Walking Dead. They had that area called the Sanctuary, And the people came in and they were wondering, wait, how come you guys like always have food? Like, where is there like a food store somewhere? Yeah, come, we'll show you where it's at. Come to find out, they were the food source. So they basically deceived them. Anybody new that came over there thinking it was a sanctuary became the food. So that was like the trap. And they would like literally hit them in the head with a baseball bat, take off their clothes, cut them up, and hang them like meat, and then feed the people.
What do you think they taking you Northern Kingdom to, man? They pulling up to the court and the dude's coming out. He's like, I get due process, man. Nah, they don't give a fuck no more. No due process for you.
Nah.
So if they're gonna take all your rights away, then what? Basically they're saying you're not a human. You're not a human being who deserves rights. If you're not a citizen of Rome, then you have no rights.
Right.
So we could dump you off in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
We could dump you off on a deserted island. They ain't taking you to Love Island. They're taking you to Doom Island, nigga. You're gonna be in big trouble, man.
Oh yeah.
They could dump you off in the Amazon. They could dump you off with some Canaanites.
Right.
Whoever the hell it, man. But we know where Leviathan's at here. Go take a visit to him.
Mm-hmm. And
there's no record of you. You're gone. When them dudes pull up and you see the guy getting taken out, that might be the last time anybody ever sees his ass.
they show you that oftentimes in like some of these shows where you end up in like a crazy ass prison, and then you see faces that you saw in the news that went missing. And you're like, oh, so this is where they had y'all this whole time? Like, yeah, bro. Like you disappear from reality. Nobody hears about you. They tell your family that you're dead or something happens or you're in a facility somewhere, and that's it for you. And that's why we're going to need the Spirit of the Lord to survive these things, because if you end up in a place like that, imagine they put you in an underwater cell, a prison that's underwater. How are you going to get out?
We see in the beginning of the Purge, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically where scripture says madmen sparing none, right, you're seeing early glimpses of that.
Right.
But on a toned down level. But imagine if there's a false flag behind it. Mm-hmm. Imagine if they actually amped up. Now they're just doing their job, right? But if they have some more emotional, which at least they know exactly which buttons to press to get that going.
Right.
Them guys, them patriotic, all them dudes are ice guys. They super patriotic American Edomites. And they're gonna come through, and they might have some Jakes in there too doing it. Right. But then when they push those buttons, which they know how to press, Iran does some shit. It's a false flag. They've been talking about it. It's gonna happen. We'll see. They're gonna go absolutely bananas, man. And we're not even a year into this man's presidency. You think ICE is gonna slow down? They're gonna get enough in 2025. They say, nah, we did enough. 2026, let's take it easy. No, they're gonna go as far, ultimately as the Lord lets them. Yep. And we know the Lord, He's bringing judgment. So, right, man.
Birth certificate bill brought out to target American citizens that's been here.
Yeah.
So, it's not even a whole year yet. Steve Wolf is draconian place.
Yeah, I was gonna say, remember when Trump first came in office? What happened to the golden age of America? Now, what happened to that? Where did all that go? What about all the wealth that's gonna flow in? Went into the big beautiful bill.
Beautiful Israeli pockets.
I was gonna say that's what it's written of in our Revelation. Spake as a lamb. Came as a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. They came speaking peaceful unto you. Hey, there's gonna be so much wealth, everything's gonna flow. But now look what happened. He's like, yo, you're getting deported, you're getting kicked out of this, right? You're getting shipped in places that you don't even know. Family members, you see them one minute today, you don't know if you're gonna see them tomorrow. Now all of a sudden there was I think the elder brother or elder name is Wakazak Van God. Mm-hmm. I think that's his child's name, where he did a lesson on how they're dropping Issachar off in the river, and some bodies are just coming up in the river. They're like dumping them off in the plane, like I guess like a high altitude, and it's just when they fall in the river, obviously they're gonna drown, or the impact from the water alone will kill you, and then what? So they're showing you how they feel about you. They're showing you they don't like you. Again, it's like, yo, they're showing you, even now with the whole ICE thing, they don't give a damn about you. Since the inception, since Esau came here, the so-called life, they're showing you that they don't like you. Them kicking you out of the land, them doing what they did unto you, and now it's like a repeat of everything. And it's like, how much more does the Lord have to show you that they don't like you? Like, but you're still seeking love and affection from them, but they don't want to have anything to do with you. Yeah, but that's the spirit of the Lord put in them, you know. So that's that time of judgment that we're in. But yeah, let's finish off in Proverbs.
Proverbs 1:27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind.
Yeah, so the things you fear come in a destructive form, right? That destruction is like a whirlwind. So you ever seen like a tornado or a hurricane that just rips up everything in its path? That's pretty much what the calamity is going to be like for a lot of people in the world. Got it?
When distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer.
Yeah, that's going to be the natural instinct. People are going to be seeking the Lord, but he's not going to answer them. He's going to answer his elect. But the majority of people, they're going to be out on their own. Got it?
They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of Yahweh.
Yeah. So this is the time to be seeking the Lord. But they don't care. They're not seeking after the Lord now. So they hated knowledge. They hated the ways that would lead them onto salvation. You rejected your salvation. You threw it away. That's on you. So you deal with that. Go ahead.
For that they hated knowledge. So like the 30th verse, they would none of my counsel.
The counsel is coming from the men of the Lord.
They despise all my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way.
That's right. And so they are going to eat of the fruit of their own way. And that's going to be by way of judgment. Because think of the way, like if you commit adultery, you planted that seed. When it germinates and grows, that's going to be the judgment or the penalty of that. The fruit is like the result of something, right? So what is the result of committing a sin? There's going to be judgment for it. And the ways that these people are following are sinful ways. So the fruit of that is going to be judgment. Right?
And be filled with their own devices.
Yep. So liken on to eating of the fruit of your own way, you're going to be filled with your own devices. So the result of your wicked plans and actions that you've been taking over the course of your life, you're going to be. It's like eating so much you're full. You can't eat anymore. Except the thing in your stomach is just judgment after judgment after judgment after judgment, and it doesn't stop. Right?
For the turning away of the simple shall slay them.
Yeah. So you got simple-minded people that, as we're trying to warn them, they're turning away to say, "I want to do my own thing. I don't give a damn what you got to say. I'm a whole grown man. I live my own kind of life." That's going to be to your destruction. Go on.
And the prosperity of fools shall destroy them.
Yeah, because how do people get prosperous? How do these fools become prosperous? Through wicked ways. And that's going to lead to their destruction. Because you can be rich, you can think you made it, but when all hell breaks loose, you're going to lose all of that and then your life in a very slow, painful way. Right?
But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely.
And that's the elect, right? The reason we're doing what we're doing right now is because we're hearkening to the Lord so that we can dwell safely. We can be fed. We can be protected. Lord willing, our loved ones as well when it's chaos and calamities out here. Carry on.
And shall be quiet from fear of evil.
Yeah, you ain't going to see we're not protesting for you. No, ain't nobody out here going to be protesting to the Lord on your behalf. If you get in that judgment and the Lord is bringing that, we're praying that he has mercy upon us. All right, because the same wickedness that you've been doing is what brought this upon you. You didn't want to listen, that's on you. That was it on Proverbs? Yep. You guys know? Yeah. All right.
Isaiah 65:11. But ye are they that forget, forsake Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, that forget my holy mountain and prepare a table for that truth.
Which goes into idolatry, right? They forsake the Lord and the ordinances of serving the Lord, and they rather give their energy to serving these idols. Right?
It reminds me of like a Thanksgiving table being set or Christmas. Jake goes all out, like you said, your mom's preserve like certain stuff for that. And that's the same way our families all are like that. And they'll really glorify those idolatrous days.
Right. But when it comes to the Passover, nobody knows what that is.
Right. And that furnish the drink offering unto that number.
Yeah, that number goes into a Babylonian deity or a Babylonian god. I think either a fortune or fate. Right. So they pour drink offerings onto these gods. They set these tables of offerings and sacrifices onto these idols. And the Lord is going to judge them for that. Got it?
And I think that was I think what it says there is that number means mene.
Yeah, mene.
I was like, the Lord was mocking them too, and he said, mene, take care of the person.
Yep.
Reading on. Therefore will I number you to the sword.
So that means you, The Lord has everybody's outcome already destined. He knows the number of hairs on everybody's head, so this ain't a problem for him, right? There's judgment set for every single soul. Go ahead.
And you see, this said, I will number the language there is interesting because he just mentioned you offering for to that number. Therefore, I will number you. You want to deal with numbers? You want to deal with fortune? Yeah, here's a fortune for your ass. Therefore, will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear.
Yes, so that's the result. Because when the Lord called, you didn't answer. When the Lord spake, you didn't give ear. You didn't give heed to the words that He was speaking. So as a result, you're gonna face the judgment because it's not like the Lord is speaking gibberish. He's telling you the what's gonna happen if you don't stop what you're doing. Right?
But did evil before mine eye, and did choose that wherein I delighted not.
Lying, mocking, disrespecting the Lord and His men, okay? Being out of order, living an ungodly life, those are the things that the Lord delights not in. And you are doing that right before His face. So your actions are going to bear witness to the judgment that's going to come against you.
Yeah, just a couple more verses. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry.
So who are the servants of the Lord? Those that are doing the will of the Lord. Those that when the Lord called, they answered. Not I'm gonna do my own thing, or hey, I don't really care, I'm too busy right now. So the servants of the Lord are gonna eat, and you're gonna be hungry. When there's no food, the Lord is gonna feed his elect, but you're gonna be starving out here. Got it?
Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty.
Same thing. And thirst is being thirsty is a mother, man, that's a painful thing to be in, man. You know, you being hungry and drinking water is one thing. Being thirsty and having no water is a whole nother thing. Go ahead.
Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart.
Yeah. So why are you going to be ashamed? You're going to be ashamed because all the things, as it says, then things shall cover her, Micah 7. Are you going to be ashamed because all these things that you came against are now happening and you don't know what to do? You need help. But who are you going to go to for help? The same one you scoffed against. But the Lord's servants are going to be rejoicing. One, because the prophecies are coming to pass. So we know the kingdom is right after. But on top of that, the Lord is delivering his elect throughout all of these things. And that's going to be a thing to rejoice at. God?
And shall howl for vexation of spirit.
There ain't going to be no escape out of this. God?
I had another precept to line up. Matthew 8 and 12. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, so who are the children of the kingdom? Ultimately Israel. But the ones that are going to be cast out into outer darkness are the ones that didn't take heed, right? The ones that are not of the elect. And that outer darkness, as it says, is going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. And we're going to gnashing of teeth, and we're going to see that. We're going to see the weeping. We're going to see the crying. We're going to see the begging, the desperation. And guess what? There's no solution coming to you. You're going to cry until you literally can't cry anymore. Your body can't produce any more tears, and your voice is cracked. You still got no help coming to you. And that's when you're going to realize in your mind, yo, I should have listened. That's where the regret steps in. Some people might just die then.
Yeah, because you don't have any more options that you can look to as a means to say, nah, I got this, or why do I need what you're saying? The Lord takes all that away from you. That's what Esau's trying to do. Every single option that you may have that will make you say no to MOTB, they're doing away with that.
Right.
And that's what the Lord's going to do. In a time of trouble, your escape avenues are all closed off. And it's like, okay, well, the windows are broken. There's no way to go throughout the windows. You can't jump off the top of the building. The only way you're going to have to get out is by going through the main entrance. That's the main entrance that has a fire. So it's either you're going to actually run, and it's not just the main entrance. It's the whole hallway that leads you to the main entrance, and it's all in flames. So are you going to stay in the building and just pray that somebody may come out of nowhere and save you? Or are you just going to have to run through that fire, that whole hallway, and get burned and still make it out alive, or just die? Either or, you're in a dilemma that you can't get out of. and nobody's there to help you. And that's hey man, that's gonna be the worst time to be, the worst time or situation to be in, man, in a time of trouble like that. Jacob's trouble where there's no help. And then you got men calling upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and everything's being taken care of for us. We got nothing to worry about. Like the discussion that we're having the other day about how in a time of trouble, just the name of the Lord alone is going to be such a pivotal thing. It's like, oh shit, yo, you in a concentration camp or in alligator Alcatraz or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a whole bunch of people just praying and saying, oh God and Jesus and Jesus Christo and all this shit. And you might hear a brother, Shalom, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Oh, whoa, who's this? Hey, like who's this? Like you hear the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, just that alone, you're gonna know, oh, somebody that I know is here. You know the same God that's my God. Oh, you worship the same God, so we're in the same boat then. Yo, let's pray to the Lord. Let's do it together. It's a who?
Let's say from my
But yeah, man, hey,
from one body in your house, I don't know you.
hey. But you know what? You still got sincere men who are in those groups
definitely,
anyway. You know what I mean? So at the end of it all, yeah, we might see somebody from ISUPK or IUIC in a time of trouble, and he might be a sincere brother. And he'd be like, hey man, I was always listening to Yah.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, out of order and shit like that. So I just kind of kept it cool. But hey, now you're in trouble. You're gonna probably go through it a little bit more tougher because you was pushing Most High and Christ blessed for so long, even though you knew the name is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So the Lord might say, okay, you might still be of the elect, but I'm gonna have to prove you a little bit more. Right. Especially in the midst of those men that were stiffly calling upon my name. You might say, oh, yo, I need to be around the brothers from GMS, right? But then guess what? We're gonna treat you like how Paul came into after he had persecuted the church and he came to the apostles. They were like, everybody's looking at him like, hey, this guy was persecuting the church, man. Or this guy's IUIC. He was teaching that Most High and Christ bless shit. And now you got to prove yourself. Oh, no. I'm actually one of Yah. You know what I'm saying? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But you're gonna have to prove that by going through some shit.
Yeah, but ultimately,
you know,
need to prove it to the Lord.
Right.
I mean, the Lord knows, but like you were saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need to the things we went through at the hands of standing stiffly for the name of the Lord, you're going to have to go through an equivalent, but in a different version.
And it's going to be a lot more high impact because it's a short time, you know?
If you don't, then you don't. You just like, man, yeah, might be. You know? But hey, that's oh, Slaki, will you finish on that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's pretty much it. We're going to close it on here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory
to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodesh.
Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom to the elect.
Yeah, that was beautiful.